This was considered one of the world's most active international trafficking groups, run by HVTs. That's police talk for high-value targets, the top tier of alleged criminal bosses. Among these surprising HVTs is a multi-millionaire racehorse owner, a politically well-connected owner of an armored car company, and a wealthy tobacco executive who suspiciously escaped seconds before police rushed in to arrest him. The Mob reporter here with news of a large operation spanning 10 countries, with police corralling 10 tons of cocaine and making 30 arrests. Their raids didn't all end nice and tidy though, sparking gun battles with narcos, ousting a government security minister, and prompting corruption concerns over ties between police, politics, and narcos. It's a stunning web of intrigue. Let me tell you about it. Every couple of months, several multi-ton consignments of cocaine were being shipped from South America to Europe. It was a logistical wonder. Production in Bolivia, supply lines through Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay, transatlantic shipping to Spain, distribution to Italy, Belgium, and the Netherlands, and command and control in Dubai, a city in the Arabian Peninsula. That covers a lot of geography. Spanish police said the probe started more than a year ago when they clamped down on their ports. They found a common pattern: maritime shipping containers aboard large merchant vessels arriving from Brazil. An international task force was set up to dismantle it from tip to tail. The keys for the organization were 4 energetic, magical cities: Rio de Janeiro on the coast of Brazil, from where the product was shipped; 2 Mediterranean ports where it was received, in Valencia and Barcelona; and Dubai on the Persian Gulf, underpinning the flow of money. A coordinated police day of action was unleashed on February 15, 2022. In Brazil, Paraguay, and Spain, about 40 locations were raided. In Brazil, where criminals seem a little bit twitchier than in Europe, some of the raids erupted into gun battles. One of the masterminds behind the ring, police allege, was a wealthy Brazilian entrepreneur who was investing money hand over fist in thoroughbred racehorses. Cristiano Mendes de Cordova Nascimento was named as the surprise face behind the alleged ring. Here he is on a jockey club website, accepting a trophy recently won by one of his many racehorses. 42-year-old Mendes made a name for himself recently by buying and selling thoroughbreds, assembling an incredible stable, and signing a world record-setting jockey, the legendary Jorge Ricardo, to wear Mendes' navy blue and lilac checkered uniform. A really promising thoroughbred can cost more than $1 million. He has other pricey investments that are being scrutinized, including luxury cars, beautiful real estate, and private planes, authorities said. Investigators gave me these photos showcasing some of it. We can surmise Mendes was one of the prime HVTs in this because police in both Brazil and Paraguay called their probes Operation Turf. Turf is a common horse racing term and is sometimes used as a synonym for the sport itself. Mendes' horse is often raced at the racecourse in Rio de Janeiro with a stunning view of the city's towering Christ the Redeemer statue. Last November, police say it was one of this network's trucks that overturned on a Brazil highway when the driver sped out of one of Rio's favelas, spooked when he saw a cop car. The driver was busted, with 600 kilos of coke found in the back. In Paraguay, the probe focused on the city of Ciudad del Este. It's an interesting place. Paraguay's second largest city, it is in an area called the Triple Frontera, meaning triple border. This is where the countries of Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil all meet, each separated by a river. Sounds like a hot spot for something shady. As it turns out, one search there was of this company, Black Eagle, which seems to have drawn its name and promotions from a 1990s mercenary movie. It brings just that kind of vibe to this story. Black Eagle sells bulletproof vehicles, ballistic vests, and other tactical and security equipment. The man behind Black Eagle was Marcos Vinicius Espindola Marques Padua. Man, these names are killing me. Espindola is a Brazilian doing business in neighboring Paraguay. He was another prime HVT of the sweep. This was his main business, at least his main public business, importing high-end vehicles, stripping them down, inserting ballistic armor to make them bulletproof and bomb-proof, and then reselling them to elite customers. But it seemed he was trying to look more like he ran a mercenary group rather than a mechanic shop, at least based on his Instagram. After Espinola's arrest, it turned out he was pals with none other than Paraguay's Minister of the Interior, Arnaldo Huzio. He's the government's minister in charge of policing and security of all things. Here's that minister in July, announcing the country's largest ever coke seizure. 3,416 kilos discovered inside bags of sugar ready for export. And here he is at a high-level international security meeting in, of all places, the Triple Frontier. And finally, here is the same minister in a Paraguayan newspaper standing with the alleged narco Espindola. When it was revealed, the minister borrowed a van from him for a family vacation to Brazil. Huzio was fired as minister, Paraguay's president announced. The minister explained on Twitter he had no idea Espindola had alleged ties to the drug trade, saying they met when Espindola was selling tactical equipment to Paraguay's police. He said he borrowed the van only when his own vehicle had mechanical trouble while vacationing with his family. Other raids in Paraguay were at the Parana Country Club, an exclusive residential complex and golf course also in the tri-border area. Police went there looking for Espindola and another suspect, Lindomar Regis Furtado. Furtado and his wife drove out of the main gate of the luxury condo complex, suspiciously just seconds before the raid. 2 security guards from the complex and a resident of one of the houses were arrested, accused of blocking police. On Friday, February 25, 2022, there was another huge drug probe unveiled in Paraguay. It seems to be closely linked to the first, as well as tied to that huge seizure we saw former Minister Huzio announcing. This case brought more disgrace to the government. Another senior government minister, this time the National Emergency Minister Joaquin Roa, was fired after it was revealed by local media his yacht was seized in the anti-drug probe. The boat was bought from alleged kingpin Alberto Beto Kobe. Kobe was an apparent friend of the minister's, granted government contracts, and whose own brother is also a politician. Kobe was arrested this week, along with a handful of other politicians and former candidates. 2 senior ministers in 1 week, fired for connection to alleged major narcos. Not a good look, and maybe far, far worse. Paraguay's president, Mario Abdo Benitez, publicly addressed there was a problem. He said Paraguay was in, quote, the toughest battle against organized crime in the entire history of the country, unquote. In other words, Paraguay has a huge problem on its hands. All allegations at this stage, of course, have not yet been tested in court. That will come, and maybe we'll get answers, and maybe we'll be left with a whole lot of questions. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.